Hello, my name's Gareth and welcome to video number 3 in my series on percussive slapping on the acoustic guitar. Now we're going to get into the more advanced stuff, if you like. It's being able to slap and flick a single string enables you to keep a single melody going as you're doing the slapping at the same time. So let's have a look at the first exercise then. I'm going to keep it very simple for now. We're not even going to fret anything with our left hand. So all we're doing is trying to flick the first string. Okay, instead of strumming down now with our index finger, we're flicking just a single string. And it's important to use a single finger to approach the strings now, whether you were using multiple fingers for the strumming. It's important that you just use the one finger now for this single note. So what we're going to do is the thumb comes in and the first index finger is aiming for the first string on its own. The work here is done not only with the right hand, the left hand does some work also, whereas it mutes some of the strings that aren't supposed to be played, so that enables you to it gives you a bit more margin for error with your right hand, if you like. So for instance, if we're playing a slap and a flick on the first string, like so, if that's what was in the song, what I would do is I'd rest my fingers on the other strings. So therefore, if I'm slapping and flicking the first, I can catch the third and the second, and it would just add to your slapping sound rather than add any notes to the song. Exercise 1, we're going to go through that 4 bars of it, just slapping and flicking the first string and see how we get on, and just be aware with what you're doing with your left hand as well, just trying to mute them other strings that you're not using. Okay, let's try this exercise then. We're going to do 2 slaps per bar for 4 bars, and it's going to go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's it for exercise number 1. We're going to repeat this process again for exercise number 2. Just muting the first string with the side of your hand or a finger, muting the third string with any finger you like, and just slapping and extending that finger to the second string. Okay, as you run through these exercises, try and be aware of your finger and where you're flicking with this hand, and although hitting the first and third string isn't a problem at the moment, just try and be as accurate as you can and just try and aim for the single string that we're looking to flick. It will improve your accuracy, and eventually you'll become a lot more honed as to what you're doing with your right hand. Okay, so let's have a go at this exercise then, same as last time, but this time on the second string and muting all the other strings. Okay, let's go. 2, 3, 4. That's the end of exercise number 2, and I could continue to do the rest of the strings. I'm afraid you get pretty bored if I was to do that, so I'm going to move on to a little bit more interesting now. You could do that in your own time if you like, muting the other strings and just flicking, just to see how it feels, get used to the feel of it. And then afterwards you can move on to the more advanced stuff, what I'm going to look at now. Okay, talking about advanced stuff, it's not too advanced to begin. All we're doing, variation on the very first exercise. Exercise 3 is going to be a thumb pluck in a C position as we were in the previous video. First fret on the second, second fret on the fourth, third fret on the fifth. We're playing a thumb pluck on 5, and then slapping and flicking the first string. Slightly different now because your fingers have to be in a certain position and they can't just be resting and muting all the other strings all the while. So the key to this is, if you're playing in this C position, you don't fret the second string completely. You lift your finger off so it's muted, and this middle finger here can flatten out and mute the third string, not push down for the fourth string. So 4, 3 and 2 can be muted even though you're still in kind of a C position when you need it. Okay, so what we're doing, playing 5, flicking the first string, like I said, muting this second string and third string here. Okay, so let's try that on a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, moving on quickly, that was exercise number 3. On to exercise number 4 now. We're going to play slightly more intricate picking. And have a little hammer on in there. So what we're doing a hammer on from the 1st to the 3rd on the 2nd string with our little finger, like that. So it's thumb on 5, hammer on from 1 to 3 on the 2nd string, and then we're doing the slap and strum on the 1st string. So this is going to try and get you used to, after that hammer on, you've got to then release the pressure on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string so that it's muted when you're doing the slap and strum, okay? This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult. Okay, so the movement that allows you to maintain that melody isn't actually with the right hand, it's with the left hand, where you're muting the strings to allow the right strings to ring and the wrong strings to mute, okay? So let's see if we can do this. Just stay on the C position for now, just with this one hammer up. Let's see how we get on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was exercise number 4. Exercise number 5 now, a slight variation on what we've just done. What we're going to do here is staying in the same shape, using the same thing to begin with. We're playing that the same to begin with. Now the second half of the bar is going to go. Okay, so we've got a pull off in there and we've got an extra couple of notes. So what we're doing here is thumb on 5, 3, and then 2 with the hammer up. Okay, 5, 3, 2, with the hammer up. Now we slap and flip the 1st string, and that straight after that, we do a pull off from 3 to 1 on the 2nd string. And this is where, again, add another layer of difficulty. So the whole thing should sound like this. Okay, that's what it should sound like all in all. I'm going to repeat that, like I said, for 4 bars, and we'll see how we get on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So exercise number 7 now, we're going to do a slight variation of what we did. Instead of using the 1st string as the flick when we're slapping, we're now moving to the 2nd string, okay, to try and vary it up a bit. And what we're doing here is thumb on 5, you're playing a slap and flick on the 2nd string, 1st fret, hammer up to the 3rd fret, okay? And then playing the 1st string straight after, okay? Okay, and the key to getting this slap and flick clear and crisp is when you fret this 1st fret on the 2nd string, you're muting the 1st string with the fleshy part of this index finger, and you're muting the 3rd string with this fleshy part of the index finger too. So both the 1st and 3rd string are muted with the left hand by the index finger, as well as the index finger fretting that 2nd string. So you should be able to slap and flick the first 3 strings but only get 1 note from that 2nd string. Okay? So once you've got that, that's what we're going to be doing in this exercise. So I'll count us in 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was exercise number 7. What we're going to do now, exercise number 8, slightly more tricky still. If it's not hard enough for you already, we're going to play okay, and so what we're doing here is we're resting our fingers to begin in the regular C shape, playing 5, 4, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're doing the slap and strum on the second string like we were earlier, with that hammer up, and then playing the open first string. Okay, so the difference this time is that for the first half, your fingers are in the regular C position. When you do the slap and strum, what has to happen is your index finger has to move to flatten out to play the second string, or to fret the second string in the correct place, but also to mute the first and mute the third. So if you'll watch my fingers carefully on my left hand cam, you'll see me move, adjusting the position of my index finger halfway through this picking pattern, and just to mute them first and third strings. Okay, if you just watch it again before we go through the exercise together. Okay, so that's what should be happening. So let's try that together now. I'm going to slow it down slightly for you, and I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was exercise number 8. I hope you're following along. Like I said, you will need to practice these probably on a daily basis for the next while. Take the practice sheet, top of the page, if you print it out, and add it into your exercise or your practice routine. Hopefully it'll come within time. Okay, on to exercise number 9 now. And what we're going to do is basically what we did in the last exercise, but we're going to move through 4 chords now. So we're going to start off on the C chord like we've just done. I'm going to move to an A minor chord, first fret on the second fret on the third and fourth. Okay, the fingering with the right hand is exactly the same. But remembering now, when we're flattening our index finger out to make the hammer on and to slap and flick at the same time, we're moving from an A minor shape now, so it's making it slightly different, not so much more difficult, but slightly different anyway. So from C to A minor on the second bar. The third bar is going to be an F. Okay, we're going to play that. So to play this F, you've got 2 options. The first option, if you bring your thumb over the top to play the root note on 6, and then you've got 3rd fret on the 4th with the ring finger, 2nd fret on the 3rd with the middle, index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd, okay? First string open, don't need to fret that. That's the first option. If you can't reach your thumb over the top just yet, if you're still practicing on that, you can just play the root note on the 4th string here. Okay, use that. Okay, so just play a thumb pick on 4 in place of a thumb pick on 6. Okay, so the sequence here: 6, 4, 3, 4. Again, slap and flick on the 2nd string, hammering up from 1st to 3rd string, followed by an open 1. So it sounds like that. And you'll notice now how much I'm actually moving out of the F shape in order to make that hammer up and just mute the strings that I need. I'm actually lifting my middle finger and ring finger to plant that index finger flat, to fret the 1st fret on the 2nd string and mute the others that I need muting. Okay, and the last chord is going to be a G. Okay, so all we're going to do here is move our ring finger to the 3rd fret on the 6th string, followed by 4, 3, 4. And then again, we're going to slap and flick the 2nd string on the 1st fret, hammer up to the 3rd and mute in the 1st and 3rd strings, and play in the open 1st string afterwards. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, so that's the 4 chord sequence that we're going to be using in this next exercise. The picking remains largely the same. It is going to be slightly more difficult this time, moving through these chords and muting the right strings and such like. Okay, so let's see how we get on with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was that exercise. Moving on to the very last one now, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine 2 of the picking patterns, or 2 different picking patterns that we've used in previous exercises, into one. The very first exercises we were concentrating on slapping and flicking the 1st string, and in the later exercise we were slapping and flicking the 2nd string. We're going to combine both of them now, so this exercise is going to sound like this. Okay, that's the sequence we're using with our right hand. So 5, 4, 3, 4 to begin with, and a C shape. Slap and strum, or slap and flick the 2nd string with a hammer on from 1 to 3. And then the open 1st, which is identical to what we've just done. But the second half of this bar plays like this, which is 5, 3, 2 with a hammer on to the 3rd fret from the 1st to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And this time slap and flick the open 1st string. Okay? Followed by the 3rd fret on the 2nd, 1st fret on the 2nd. This is what we did in the previous exercise, but now we're combining the 2 by playing the 1st half, go in, and the 2nd half. Okay, like the last exercise, we're going to be moving through all these 4 chords again. Obviously it's going to take quite a bit of practice, but let's see if we can get through it then. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's it for this video. What I've shown you in the last few exercises did get pretty tough, but like I said, you've got stepping stones up to what I've just played in the previous exercises, so go over the previous exercises if you can't get the last few, because that's what they're there for. Practice, practice, practice. Try and mute the correct strings, playing the right strings, flicking more and more accurately as you practice. And like I said, integrate it into your daily playing routine. If you do want to learn this technique, you have to put the hard work in. There's no shortcuts for doing this. Okay, everyone who can play this has put the hard work and the groundwork in. There's just no way you can do it without practice, practice, practice. So thanks for watching this series so far. There might be a part 4 somewhere down the line which focuses more on the other strings and more intricate picking patterns maybe, but what I might do is I'm probably going to teach some of my background music which has got slapping and flicking on the other strings, which goes something like that. So look out for the lesson on that, because that'll be around in a few weeks' time. That's my background music that I use for when I'm talking in my videos. So thanks for watching this series, and thanks for any comments or suggestions. Always drop them in the comments section, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.